Tonight's competition is one time around the course, a speed class, as we'll get to that course in just a moment. Of course, this evening will determine the order of go for this Saturday's $150,000 Longines FEI World Cup of Las Vegas, as the winner tonight will earn the right to go last in this Saturday's competition. So not just the $40,000 on the line here, but trying to vie for a very important position in Saturday night's class. Tonight's format, just one time around the course. You may see varying rides here throughout the competition, but let's go over that course designed by Mr. Anderson Lima and Katsi Cruz upon receiving the tone to begin. Riders will come from the in-gate area up and around here off the left-hand lane, most of them, to the first fence, the Longines vertical, near where many of you are sitting, just to your right of the stands. Around the left-hand turn. Now here's the very first option for our riders tonight. Those who want to win are probably going to turn inside fence 6, the horse flight. Those who just want to qualify for Saturday will probably go around and get a good line on our Blenheim Equisports jump number 2, the vertical. Straight down in a related distance to the Rogue 3, the first oxer on the field at fence number 3. A right-hand turn over to our slot machine vertical. Well, they'll have a chance to either add up or speed up to the deck of cards. The ox are located right in the center by the Longines clock. From there, another option here, inside option from fence number 1 to fence number 6 with the Liverpool. Always a little bit of a challenge here with the Liverpool. If they cut it too far inside, some of those less experienced horses may see that Liverpool and run out to the right. So you may see a very...
Well, if you have just joined us, a very good evening. Welcome here to Las Vegas. We're getting set for the All-In Speed Classic. It's going to be one round against the clock, and we've got some great names coming forward. I'm Adam Cromarty, Oliver Kennedy alongside me. Oliver, nice starting field here in Vegas. We've got some good names joining us this year.
Well, Luis Sabino Gonçalves starts it off out of Portugal. Natalie Dean has been great with Chance Sandermelt all season long. There's some great lists that go. You can see Connor Swale. He has been so hot.
Yeah.
Had a victory already earlier today. Daniel Coyle comes off of the win in the World Cup last week in Toronto. Christian Heineken, he has been tough. He has won the World Cup class before, but he is just coming back to the sport after being out for a few years with a broken leg and rehabilitating from that. Mark Watring, a past Pan American gold medalist. Jen Waxman, a top up-and-coming young rider on the tour, as in the start field. Niall Nassar came off a class win last week in Toronto that we saw. Bull Run's Faustino Ditali, one of the fastest horses out there.
Yep.
Was second in a speed class at Toronto last week. There's so many interesting combinations here. Connor Swale and Theo are always tough. Vanessa Mannix from Canada. Jamie Taylor's tough here out on the West Coast as well.
Yeah, there's just under 40 combinations coming forward. Some quick ones towards the end as well. And it is one round against the clock, so it is faults and it is time that is going to decide our result here. And if you want to find the order of go or the live scoring, you can head to longinetiming.com. Good to have you with us. So if you are watching on Facebook Live, remember, hit that share button. Let us know where you're watching from as well. If you've got any questions, any comments. We're also watching the live chat on YouTube as well, so you can stick your comments and questions in there. But yeah, one round against the clock. I think most of these guys are going to be going for it, because with 37 in it, it is a qualifier here for Saturday, but as long as they complete, that should tick that box. Then it all comes down to the prize money.
That's so much, plus they're all battling it out for the order of go for the World Cup class on Saturday night here.
Yeah, they will come back in reverse order of merit, but we're getting set to see that first combination. And as is tradition here in the USA, they are going to start with the national anthem, and then we'll pick up the action on the other side of this.
For the All-In Speed Classic with the plate, the American National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, there we go, the US national anthem, setting the stage and getting us ready to see this one round against the clock competition, the Las Vegas National All-In Speed Classic. Just under 40 coming forwards here. Anderson Lima leads the course design team this week, and he's designed a great track. Got some crafty turns available to these athletes as they come forwards. Plenty of people getting involved already in the conversation. Laura Berger is rooting for Connor. Connor Swale, of course, will be coming later. She's watching in Surrey, BC. Mauricio Garcia is watching. We've got Nevea Miller. Julia Celsius, where can I find the order of go? That's on longinetiming.com. You'll find that on there. Mina's watching. She says, good early morning from cold northern, and then doesn't tell us northern where, but she's up north somewhere. Sheila's watching in West Virginia, and Janice in North Carolina. Do get involved in the conversation. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments box below. And while you do that, we'll get this first combination underway. Luis Sabino Goncalves, a 13-year-old mare by Lord Cathargo called Vicky de Crozy. Luis moved from Portugal last year, now based in California. He says it really feels like home there. And this horse has got quite a lot of blood, but Luis tries hard to make sure he doesn't get too anxious and just keep everything nice and contained.
Luis has had a great experience since moving to the U.S. He brought along a great horse, and his top horse beginning of this season was sold to Lily Keenan, who's done quite well on it for the U.S. team. Now he brings along another string of horses.
Yeah, he's got a really nice string.
Seasoned veteran, has ridden in multitude of Nations Cups for Portugal and championship rider for the Portuguese Federation.
So let's take a quick look at this course. We start over this vertical. It's about 145 in height. Most of them are going to be coming for this inside turn round to 2. There is a wide option. I don't think we'll see it though. 148 that vertical. Related distance down to the Oxer, just under 150 high. Then you want to roll back nice and tight through here. 150 vertical at 4. Right-handed bending line down towards this 150 Oxer.
Another inside here coming back to the Liverpool.
Yeah, they want to be nice and tight through there. That's 150. Bending line left-handed. 150 Oxer, quite square. And on the 4 strides as they come down to the vertical. Another 150 fence. Down to the long side, double Oxer in. Bit sticky. 1 non-jumping stride out over the vertical. And then nice and tight through here. Round towards the Oxer at fence 10. Again, that's 150 square, so same height at the front and back rail. Long side, another double. Upright, 1 stride Oxer, and then the finish is just after this 150 square Oxer. So some nice options in there, Oliver.
Yep, 62.57 is his time. Again, it is faults in time in our format. Time first round, but faults in time the deciding factor. He is on a clear, 62.57.
A little bit sticky there and almost came out the side door. He added this to his string in June. He won the 3-star at Grand Prix in WEC Ocala, and it was a real nice start, but gives the rest something to chase now. 62.57. Elisa Bros is next. 12-year-old this one by Cardento out of a Concord mare. This is Cardetta van Meerhof. Lisa trains with Cassio Rivetti, and she's picked up Team Silver for Zone 10 at Young Riders with this horse earlier in the year.
I saw her earlier this season competing in Tryon when Cassio was there for a few weeks prior to them going to Young Riders. And they were quite interesting combination.
She's got a couple of nice horses at the moment. She's got another one called Tinkerbell that's been on great form. But we saw her in a similar class at Sacramento, actually, 140 speed, and she had the win there. That was just a couple of weeks back. So we know she's on form. We know this horse can turn. It can eat up the ground.
I almost think, I mean, there is an option of maybe going inside that dice. I'm not sure, you know, but somebody crafty like Connor Swale might try that.
I think it's a Connor Swale or Daniel Coyle turn.
I'm not sure if it's faster, but it's a shot there.
This is going to be faster, though. She can just keep going forward.
61.73, and that's just fractions ahead.
Yeah, just under a second ahead. So heads towards the top. Elisa Bros there for the United States of America. The lead changes once again. And plenty of people joining in on Facebook as well. Nino's watching in Italy. Gwen in Fairfax, Virginia. Paige in Santiago. Amy Hens says, here we go. She's watching in Colorado. Niamh Miller, though, from New Zealand, furthest away so far. So great to have you with us. If you are watching, hit that share button if you're on Facebook. Let us know where you're watching as well. And we'll get Natalie Dean underway. She's got a couple of horses in this competition. This is the one we've seen her jump a few World Cups with already, though. 14-year-old mare by Calvaro out of a Hemingway mare. Natalie's 23 years of age. And this is a pair that we've seen on successful Nations Cup team. Finished second at WEF in the Nations Cup there. And this horse has quite a lot of blood, but these indoor arenas just tend to keep her. They keep her nice and calm. They quite suit her.
Well, Natalie on a horse that was started by Michael Morrissey, and Natalie purchased the horse about a year and a half ago. Has been an amazing combination.
I know Natalie manages this horse really carefully. You know, she doesn't want to get it too fit because it's just, it has that nice amount of blood, but if you got it too fit, then it can get a little bit fizzy. But she's just keeping that nice forward active rhythm all the way around here. That's like a fairly straightforward 4-stride distance down there. They can just keep riding forward. It's going to be all about risk and reward down this final 3-fence line. 61.73 to beat. She's not going to be quite quick enough to do that, but a great start to her campaign here and sets up nicely for Saturday.
63.45 is the time. Right now they sit in third.
But quite close, you know. Luis came first, 62.57. Then Elisa pushed him down to second. She's up there on 61.73. And now we've got 63.45. So they're all kind of there or thereabout. Carolyn is watching on YouTube Live in South Florida. Lisa says, hi, watching from Las Vegas. Couldn't watch the show in person. Well, if you get a chance, Lisa, do come down. It's on all day long. Poison Apple's watching in Utah. H. Clark in Kentucky. Good to have you all with us. Plenty to go as well if you have just joined us. And we're off to a combination that finished second in the Riders' Cup Grand Prix last year. 14-year-old stallion. This is Dexter R. and Casey Ament for the USA.
Very successful California-based rider.
Casey featured here in the World Cup last year. The horse has had quite a light international season. But I know she says this one is her horse of a lifetime.
Goes around, coming back to number 6.
Just a little rub there. So for some riders, they'll be using this, you know, as a competition to try and earn some prize money. For others, it'll be a nice setup for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Las Vegas this Saturday. And I would think Casey's kind of got that in the back of her mind. And this horse is 14 years old now, so still plenty of jumping left. It just catches that rail. Just going to have to be careful of the time, but we'll come inside. 72.94, and just takes that one rail. But still a good setup for Saturday. You know, gets in the ring, has a look at some of these fences.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see the ones that are really going for it, the ones that are going just to make sure they're in a decent spot in the order. You know, get a clear or a fast 4. And then there's the ones that are going to go all in to win.
Absolutely.
So here's Laura Height, Calypso van de Zoethoven, 14-year-old gelding by Tangelo, Thunder van de Zoethoven mare.
Laura used to train with Joey Gatlin, who actually found this horse in Belgium with help from Stal Hendricks and Karel Cox. Now based with Cassio Rivetti. And Laura likes jumping this horse here. She was 3rd in the World Cup last year. It's got plenty of scope. Whoa.
Oh.
Looks like she was making sort of some adjustments as she was coming round there.
I'm not sure if the horse really got his eye on the jump. They were kind of fussing at each other, and he came around turn, just didn't really see it.
But that'll have been quite costly. Whoa. She's really having to have a conversation around the corner there.
Ooh, got there just way long. There was no room. It's either going to be a flyer and land in the middle or try and add one in, and there was no room to do that.
And that is going to be elimination, sadly, there for Laura Height and Calypso van de Zoethoven. You know, that is very, very costly because although in this kind of competition they are looking to qualify, it's the top 40, but they do have to complete. So we'll wait and see. Carolyn Freimark says her favourite rider, Jessica Springsteen, not here, sadly, this year. Has been here before, though. Taylor Fleming's now watching in New Zealand. Catherine is lasering downstairs in the barn. Well, I hope you're enjoying it down there, Catherine. Hopefully you make a chance to nip upstairs. Retha's watching in South Africa as well. And Zoom Gallagher is going next.
Zoom had a good Las Vegas National last year. Some nice placings and good performances. Set herself up nicely over the season here to come back. Yeah, and the hard part about coming here is out on the West Coast, for the riders on the West Coast, they don't have many indoor venues. They don't really have. There's here in an arena this size.
Yeah, even like Sacramento's a bit of a hybrid venue, although it's indoors. And this is a relatively new horse for Zoom. She got this one in August, but this is their first international week together.
You know, the dice coming down, and she's on 4 right now.
But this horse actually came from Gary Gillespie, who's quite a big dealer up in Scotland. His son Graham rode it, and then it went to Richard Howley's team with Conor Mahone riding it. Then Cara Chad brought it over to North America, jumped it at Thunderbird a couple of times, and then it went to Zoom. And it's an exciting new horse in her string. You know, first international competition as a pairing, and just finishes on the 4, 67.55. You see that just one rail coming down, but then makes a great recovery down that distance. That was a shame. But plenty left to come. And again, if you have just joined us on Facebook Live, don't forget to hit that share button. Anne Warner's just joined us watching in Ocala. Good to have you with us tonight, Anne. If you've got any questions as well, any comments about the show, the venue, the sport, anything you want, just pop it in the comments box below.
Oh, the score to beat right now is 61-73, and Alyssa Bras leads the way. But this next gentleman, I think he will have something to say about that.
We were talking about that inside turn back round to fence 10, and I think if it's on that turn, it'll be this guy who will be first to give that a shot. This is Connor Swale next. He's got a 13-year-old gelding with him by Diamond de Semele called Vital Chance de la Rock. This is our winner of the World Cup in Sacramento.
Connor won the first 2 legs of the World Cup series here on the North American League in Sacramento. Also took the win at Washington. Did not show in Lexington, but went down, did the Major League Tour in Mexico, the stop there. But we did see him last week in Toronto. Didn't have a win there, but he was right in there on the prize presentations up in the top 4 numerous times throughout the international division. And one of the interesting things, this horse goes barefoot.
He does.
Does not wear shoes.
He was like that when he came to Connor. The old owner asked if he would keep it that way, and he doesn't see any reason to change it because it's going so well.
Why mess with success?
And this horse can be quite hot. It can be a little bit strong. And those kind of watching at home might have noticed he rides this one in a hackamore. Connor likes hackamores actually. He thinks he keeps the horse's shoulders a bit lighter. But he did try this one with a bit in, and when Connor took a check, it almost took too much energy away. So with a hackamore, he can take a little bit of a steady pull, but just keep that energy, keep that impulsion.
Connor, world ranked number 5, and he has been on fire all year long and has probably one of the best strings that he has had of horses in a long time.
And he's gone round, which would suggest that
if he went around, I don't think, maybe he'll try it on Theo, but
Daniel Coyle would be the only one then. Having a look at the start list, it may attempt. Catches that rail. That was a shame. You can see that horse kind of kicking out. He really doesn't like hitting rails.
60.41 on 4.
So really kind of smashes the time. And that horse is just naturally fast. I wouldn't say he was that much tighter anywhere. But the horse just eats up ground, and he doesn't really have to take that much of a pull. He just keeps moving forward.
Just kind of hung up. He was getting a little hot, pulling on him a little bit, but
Camille Zoller says, shout out to Guy Fox at the Ingate. I think that's about our ringmaster. He's got some great different suits. He had one with playing cards on yesterday. This is another really quick rider. Another one that takes us to Ireland. Daniel Coyle, Ivory TCS. 9-year-old mare. He's had this horse for about a year. Won here on the opening day. Had lots of good results outdoors as well. This week would be their first real indoor experience. He's ridden the horse at Sacramento. As I mentioned, although that's indoors, it's open on one side. It's a massive arena. It's a bit of a hybrid. He jumped the World Cup in Sacramento, though, and just had one rail with this horse.
Well, he comes off a win on his Top Mount Legacy last week, winning the World Cup in Toronto. Won the Puissance at Washington. Tied with his brother and McLean Ward there, jumping 6'10". Had a class win at the National Horse Show. All in all, he's had a pretty good fall.
He has. He's so competitive. He's always hungry for it. But he's also a great horseman as well. No, he's going outside. I don't think that turns on.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I'm not sure. The only thing you could maybe do is if you hit it dead perfect is jump across the Longines Oxer, but...
Yeah, what's interesting with that Oxer is he's kept it quite narrow compared to the rest. Just that one rail that we saw there, 60.68 for Daniel Coyle. You know, the rest of the Oxers on course are kind of between 150 and 160 wide. The Oxer at fence 10 is only 1 meter 20 wide, so it's kind of that little bit narrow to encourage them to be able to turn over it or cut across it.
From Rancho Santa Fe, California, we'll turn our attention to the next American rider here. It's Elisa McCardle.
But Elisa Bronze still leads at this stage, 61.73. Langley Durham says, amazing job, Zoom Gallagher. Love from California. But lots of new people joining us on Facebook Live, which is great to see. Don't forget, you can hit that share button, let your friends know, share it into any groups that you're a member of. Do let us know where you're watching from. Any questions, any comments, good luck messages for the riders, stick them in that box below. Right, let's get Jason McArdle underway. Mr. Incredible, horse he's had for about a year and a half. And this is an old ride of Aaron Vale.
Well, Troy Glaus, who owns this horse, one of the best baseball players there is out there. So, top major league player.
Jason had a top 10 finish in the $50,000 Grand Prix and second in the $25,000 Classic at Blenheim recently. When Aaron Vale had this horse, he won so much. It was something like 10 Classics in a row. And Jason McArdle, you know, he does a great job with the younger horses. He's produced some really nice ones, sold them on. And everyone will come in tonight with their own plan. You know, are they going to go for the win? Are they wanting the lion's share of the, was it $40,000 in this one? Or are they going to be setting up for later in the week? Are they using it as a bit of a schooling experience? So they'll all have their own plan. And you can see Jason's, you know, not really going for the win tonight, but he's given this horse a good solid ride all the way around.
Well, that's important. Yeah, you want to go and you want to set yourself up for the main goal of the week.
Yep.
You know which ones you can really take a stab at it, and which ones you want to get a steady performance, give them the confidence, and when the jumps get that much bigger on Saturday night, they're in it to win it.
And I think he got the plan that he wanted to achieve done in there. So goes clear, Jason McArdle, 74.89. Going to pop him into fourth at the moment. Top three remain unchanged. Connie Hunt says she was fortunate enough to attend the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair in Toronto. It was amazing to see so many more FEI shows in North America. Las Vegas looks awesome too, she says. How many riders at Las Vegas who were at Toronto? Got to be, what, 6, 7?
Yeah, we were at Toronto last week too, and you had the Coils, both, or you had Daniel, Connor, Kristen Vanderveen, who's here.
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
Christian Heineken is on track now. 9-year-old stallion by Darko. Very well bred horse, this one.
This is a quick horse too, but Christian's just back to riding. He's his assistant Nico Gamboa has been showing this horse most of the year, and Christian just back in the saddle after injuring himself again this winter. He's had a bad break a couple of years ago, and they had to go back and do some more work on it. So he's just getting back to the sport. He's been training and having great success all year.
And Nico did a very good job, actually. I remember seeing him at Pin Oak.
Yeah.
And he had some great results there.
Hard rub behind, bit stays up. They were, this horse was right in it in Omaha, and then it to win its speed class.
Not quite fast enough tonight, though. But great to see Christian back on board this one.
Yeah.
65.14 there, Christian Heineken. NKH Mr. Darcy heads into fourth place at this stage. Hi to Ashley Bond. Haven't seen you for ages, Ashley. Hope you're okay. Judy Burns says, hey Adam, watching in Florida, great course. Yeah, Anderson Lima is one of the riders' favourites without a shadow of a doubt. He does a really good job.
Now here's the winner of last year's World Cup here in Vegas.
Yeah, back to defend that title, Hunter Holloway. Cracking horse, this one. Pepita Conspita, 11-year-old.
Of course, Hunter number 5 in the North American League standings so far. The defending champion from 2021.
First time Hunter saw this horse, it was in a video, and she knew this mare was special. She instantly loved her and just wasn't sure if she could ride her, but it turned out she could, and the scope that you see when this horse jumps really has developed. It was always kind of there, but people wondered how much was in the tank, but it turns out there was plenty. And technically, this horse is called Pepita in the barn, but also goes by Princess and P. Fun fact.
She's going for it.
If you've got really good eyesight, you might see this horse actually goes with her tongue out. And because of that, Hunter rides her with a really kind of loose noseband, not to kind of interfere with that, because she's happy and she jumps like that, so why try and strap it down? She, as you mentioned, won the World Cup last year. She was third in the World Cup this season in Lexington, 11th in Washington. And this is a horse she took to World Cup finals. And Hunter really loves this show. She was down on the strip, seen a show the other night, and really kind of makes the most. But just in a bit of a conversation round there.
She's kind of on it here. She can keep coming down this line.
This is going to be our new leader. Oh! Catches that final fence. Look at the time though. 58.89.
She shatters the time that Connor put in with 4.
Absolutely. Fastest of the 4 falters into 6 there for Hunter. But again, great setup here for the World Cup on Saturday night. Oh, that was a real heartbreak. Gene Evans says, great course watching from old Australia. Sarah's watching in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Tyler Fleming says, I ride a 15-3 thoroughbred. He's also her profile picture, so if you're on Facebook Live, yeah, you can check her out.
Another one of our riders with multiple horses to compete tonight.
Oh, and Ashley Bond says she's going to Fort Worth. Well, I'll see you there, Ashley. Rob Morrison just joined us watching in Toronto. Good to have you with us, Rob. We were in Toronto last week. Great city. And Caitlin Campbell is underway here now. Represents the USA. 12-year-old by Nabab Derev out of a For Pleasure mare. This is Kaiser Van Het Lambrock.
Well, she's already pretty slick in the early parts of the course. Caitlin is no stranger to going fast. She's one of the best speed riders on the West Coast.
I think this is her first FEI week with this one.
Won a class already this week in the international division.
This is a nice horse. This one Cassio Rivetti had some great results with. Sean Cassidy's ridden it, Juan Carlos Garcia.
And really, the horse she has coming a little later in the order, Paulina de Lescaut, is really fast.
Well, new one to the international division. Just got a little bit kind of hung up in the air there. But Caitlin's proof that you don't have to be big to ride these powerful horses.
Now pulls her a little past the distance there.
Yeah, you could see her just trying to take that last minute check to sort it out, but Caitlin Campbell will finish on the 8 there, 64.09 with Kaiser. Van Het Lambrock.
Oh. Got in a little long, cuts the back rail, has to really push to get out.
So we've seen 5 clear rounds from what's gone so far. There's been about 12 of them so far. 25 left to come though here in this one. Hank Fredericks is next. Just Sexy M. It's a 13-year-old gelding. My son of sexy eyes. Represents the Netherlands. Hank's got a great dealing business over in Europe. Not sure if I've seen him jump over here before. But this one's been jumping 3 stars over in mainland Europe and he's had some good success. And with the way his dealing business is, I wouldn't think this horse will be going back to Europe. Rob Morrison on Facebook Live talking about Caitlin, who's just been saying she's a bit like Margie, always on huge horses.
Well, the next one she'll ride in the order is a little smaller, more her size.
Kind
of just like Margie said, Caitlin the same way. You know, she doesn't go looking for the big horses. She just looks for the nice horses, and if they happen to be big, so be it. You got to take what you find, right?
Absolutely. Penultimate fence comes down there for Hank. And the last one as well. Started off fantastically. They're going to finish on a total of 8, 71.95 there for Henk Fredericks and Just Sexy M. Again, no, just going to set up nicely for Saturday. Carolyn says, I wish I could watch the Saturday night show, but she's got a rehearsal dinner that night because she's getting married on Sunday. Well, good luck, Carolyn.
Congratulations.
Very well. Katie says it happened to her. She ended up with a 17-year-old, 17-hand off-the-track thoroughbred. This is Kama Godek next. 10-year-old gelding called Chelsea. Brand new ride for Kama. She's got a few new ones actually. She's only had for a couple of months since the summertime. This is their first FEI show together. One that Christian Hess brought out as I think about an 8-year-old over in Europe. And this is one that Kama's sister actually really, really likes. And that's, I think, how Kama ended up with the horse. Kama's sister said, please don't sell this one, but Kama's got a great kind of producing business, always selling horses, so I don't think anything's not for sale. But it'll be the first time, they've jumped internationally together indoors. Bit of a fact-finding mission. Just
5 and 6 both come down. And 7. She hopped in the truck and drove 36 plus hours to come here from Virginia. Sitting on 16 faults. Make it 20.
I mean, they had a really nice Grand Prix win up in Canada together on the national circuit there. But, coming indoors and these tests come out so fast. And this horse does naturally drift to the right. And I know Kama has to work quite hard just to, maintain that straightness. And I think we saw a little bit of that drift down that double today. It's going to be 24, but brand new one on her string. We'll keep an eye on them for the future. Kama Godek there for the USA. Kristen Noel says she's watching in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hoping to do this one day with her girl Paris. Jumped their first 4'3" fence the other day. She is well and truly on her way. Carrie says, I'm going to a judge's recertification this weekend. Should I study or watch? I mean, this is practically like studying, especially if it's a jumper judges thing.
Yeah.
We'll keep you right. Sherry says, so many tight turns, can't wait to see the jump off. Well, Sherry, you're going to be waiting a long time because this is a one-round competition. That's why you see so many tight turns in here. It's one round directly against the clock. So the one with the lowest number of faults and the fastest time will win. We've got clear, so it's going to be the fastest clear now that will end up winning. Carrie Roofer's just joined us, says, hi Adam, watching with Kevin, McKenna, Norris and Jacqueline Duff in Thermal. Hoping I'm going to make it up to Thermal this winter. It's just not the same, you not being here, Carrie. My bar bill's much lower. Luis Sabino Goncalves is next. He's back with a second ride, actually. Bimel Deschamps, the 11-year-old gelding. This was jumping over in Europe till the end of the summer. He was fourth in a 140 Open Classic last week, actually, where Carrie and co are watching up in Thermal at Desert Horse Park. If you weren't with us when he came in with his first horse, we mentioned, he now bases himself in California, and although he just moved over from Portugal last year, he says he kind of really feels at home there. He's settled in so well. And Desert Horse Park's becoming a real good winter destination. So many improvements up there.
Well, that's why I say you see a lot of these riders like Connor and Daniel Coyle that came out here, because they're going to head over there for the 5-star competition that they have coming up and the big money they have at their December series.
Well, he currently sits second with his first ride. Takes a rail on this one, though. 72.82. I'm pretty sure that's the name we'll see here in the World Cup on Saturday. Now, if you want to watch the World Cup, it won't be on YouTube or Facebook. You have to watch on FEI TV or Clip My Horse. Highlights, though, will be on CBS the following week, so make sure you check those out as well. Mark Watring standing by, Limbosini RC. This is by Gardus Limbus. Mark's a former Olympian from back in the day, 84 and 2004.
Pan American gold medalist, individual gold.
More recently, though, he was 8th in the 135 earlier in the week. And this is a guy who spent a bit of time in England, actually, eventing with a guy called Lars Senderholm. But he made his World Cup debut in Sacramento a couple of weeks back. He was 11th there. And really, this is his only horse on the circuit. But it's one that he thinks so much of. He's had some great results. Maybe jinxed him a little bit there.
I'll let him know.
Well, fastest four-fault round at the moment is Hunter Holloway, 58.89. I don't think anyone's going to catch that, to be fair. But at the moment, you know, a good four-fault round could get you some money. But after he made his World Cup debut in Sacramento, I would imagine he wants to be in here on Saturday night. And as long as they complete today, then that will be good enough to tick the box.
Hamanome on 12.
70.40, 12 there for Mark Watring. And Carlin says, any tips on how to boost her confidence in jumping higher than 2 foot? For me, it's all about your flat work. If you can get a nice active canter and your horse has the ability, then the jumps almost become the easy bit. But I would say go and find a good coach or a good rider, someone to work with who's been there, who's done it. And just try and enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy jumping any more than 2 foot, then stick to jumping 2 foot.
Yeah, so much of it is believing that you can do it.
Anything is possible, unless you try to staple jello to a tree. That's probably impossible. But anything else is possible. Let's get James Arkins underway. Represents Australia. 10-year-old by Diarado out of a Chaco Blue mare. This one called Eurostar. This is a horse that James has had since he was 3. He's produced it all the way through the grades. He's taken it to the World Championships. Had a little bit of a rest since then, and then brought it out and had a really good win up at Thermal in the High Gain Grand Prix, $100,000 Grand Prix. That was at the beginning of the month. And fun fact, this is Australia's #1 performing horse this year. He's got a couple with him though, a couple of horses.
Ooh, he got lucky there.
Sometimes you use Vegas. I mean, everyone needs luck here.
Well, you'd need luck every time you ride. Anybody does.
But especially in Vegas.
True.
Lady luck. Yeah, he was second with his other horse yesterday in the 140. And he is thinking forward all the way round. Got about 10 seconds to get home, but then catches the first part of the double, and he's going to be faster.
58.15. And that's faster than Hunter Holloway's four-fault round.
Yep. So that is going to go into 6th place, best of the 4s. And I wasn't convinced anyone could beat Hunter Holloway's four-fault time, but there you go. If only he'd left that rail up, though. Lots of people joining in on YouTube and on Facebook Live. If you have just joined us, don't forget to hit share. Any questions, any comments, if you want to let us know where you're watching, stick that in the box below. We've got about 20 left to come. If you've just joined us, this is a one-round competition. It's directly against the clock. Jennifer Waxman on course now. The 11-year-old by Clearway, Lavlino Terklomp.
Jen's worked with Shane Sweetnam, been at Spy Coast for a while, and just recently moved out to the West Coast, her new job. She's been having a lot of success out here. She spent a lot of time riding the young horses at Spy Coast Farm, which put her on a lot of different types of horses.
And that's so important. Yeah, she works for the Phillips family now, and they bought this horse for her. And to look at him, you wouldn't think he was naturally fast, but he really likes it when Jennifer just dares him that little bit. She won the 2-star welcome at her first ever Split Rock in Portland this year. That was the first time she'd showed the horse in FEI. But what a campaign they're having. Jumps the last. And that's a good one. Heads into third, I think.
Now look at that big smile on Jen's face.
So 63.30 into third, pushes Natalie Dean to fourth. Luis Goncalves still in second. Elisa Bros leads, so 61.73 time to beat.
Now here's Natalie Dean's second horse.
Natalie's a great young rider. You see that leaderboard on screen. Spots of the World says she's new to the sport, trying to learn everything. Can't ride horses, but I can watch them. Yeah, and it's great with all the live streaming, isn't it? You can watch sport from all over the world. So good to have you with us. Spots of the World on YouTube. Katie says, what a nice pair. Love how neat he is with his feet. I think talking about that last horse we just saw. But Natalie Dean back on track. So this time she's got Maestro Vika van de Ark, 10-year-old stallion by Lordanos, out of a heartbreaker mare. She had a 145 win at Sacramento with this a couple of weeks back. Been jumping major league competitions as well with this one. Just catches that rail. Natalie's another one who's got a really nice string at the moment. She had this horse about 3.5 years. It was one that Marlon Mondello Zantelli started.
Yeah, jumped into that line, got down just a little quicker with that big jump she brought in. Couldn't reel it in to fit that distance in. Quick horse.
Really quick across the ground. 58.67. Again, we know that time's fast enough. But 8 faults pushes her off our leaderboard and down into 14th. Natalie Dean there with the second ride. Maestro. So about 19 gone so far. 6 clears at this stage. Maya Holland's watching in Las Vegas. Why haven't you come to see us, Maya? You must be close by.
Well, we're at the midway point, and it is time to take a drag break. As you see, Alyssa Bras, 61.73 leading. Luis Sabino Gonsalves in second at 62.57. Jen Waxman we just saw go into third. Then it's Natalie Dean in fourth as we go into the midway point of the class.
Plenty of quick ones still to come. A good opportunity as well if you want to ask any questions about the event, about the show, about the sport. Stick them in that comments box below now while we have a quick drag break. Leah Gabrielle's watching on YouTube Live in Victoria, Australia. So good to have you watching, Leah. Diane's watching in, I think, Yaz, Australia. Andrew's in Victoria, Australia. I don't know what time it is there. It's probably, I think, what, Friday afternoon there? But yeah, anyone else that wants to say hello, anyone that wants to ask any questions, feel free to get involved with the conversation here tonight. $40,000 in the prize fund, 1-round competition directly against the clock. Sloan L. Mason says, hi Adam, good to hear from you. Good to hear from you, Sloan. Hope you're well. Nicole says, go KCMN. Nicole's watching in Texas. Just joined us here on Facebook Live. If you have just joined, don't worry, you've not missed it. We're just at the halfway stage. They're just threshening up the footing. And then we'll get back underway. Diane says it's 3:15 in Australia, so I think 3:15 Friday afternoon. Andrew says it's beer o'clock in Australia. I think it's always beer o'clock in Australia, isn't it? Julia says the tractor's turbocharged. Yeah, they're out on those John Deeres. Melissa Brown says go Kendall. Nancy's just joined us watching in Wellington, Florida. Maya's watching, says just got home from work. Where do you work, Maya? Tell us more. Haley's watching in Kenosha. Just came over to Facebook from Clip My Horse to say hi. Yeah, if you're watching on there, you want to get involved with the conversation, maybe you could have 2 windows open. Go wild. Connie's watching in Las Vegas. I don't know if she's actually at the show or wherever Jordan's watching. Jordan says it's almost midnight here, but I had to see this. Shady says, is Laura Kraut riding? She's not riding at this one. She was in Toronto last weekend. The weekend before that, she was over in Europe on a horse that she's kind of bringing back. And then the week before that, she was at Washington. But no, she's not here with us at this one. Jared says it's 11:15 in South Carolina. We've now turned it into a conversation about time. Corey's just joined us as well, watching in Atlanta. Jenna Smith in North Carolina. Jessica's in Uruguay. First one from Uruguay tonight, Jessica, welcome along. Glory's watching in Panama City. It's in Florida. Nancy in Wellington, Florida. Corey says hi from Atlanta, Hotlanta, GA. And it looks like those rails are starting to go back in, so any minute now we'll have that first one coming forward. Lefty says Andrea is in Ohio, shout out. Well, shout out to you. Brian Wood says howdy from holiday in Texas. Paige Walker's watching from university in her first year, not being able to watch in person, but just to support her trainer from here. Who's your trainer, Paige? We'll give her a shout out. We'll look after her since you're at university. And what are you studying? Got to give us all these important details. Burkey Turkey says, is Daniel Deusser there? Nope, Daniel's not at this one. Don't know where he is this week. Probably over in Europe somewhere though.
Probably he's at Prague for the GCT.
Yeah.
The playoffs there.
Big playoffs in Prague this week.
We'll probably see him in Wellington this winter.
Hannah's watching in New York. Someone asked what the rails are made of. These are all wooden rails, these ones. And all the rails, have to be wooden.
They're all milled perfectly round.
Yeah. Anna says, getting myself tuned up for FEI in Omaha this spring. Yeah, World Cup finals coming back to Omaha. I was there for the finals the last time they were there, and the atmosphere was just so great.
Great facility there.
Yeah, it really is. And I think the whole town had come out to watch.
And you can get the best steak you've ever eaten in your life.
It's true. It's true.
I was just there in May.
Shady Mania says, love this commentator's accent. I'm not sure if she's talking about you or me, Oliver.
Well, I guess it depends. Most people in the U.S. don't think I have an accent, so if she's from the U.S., who could be? Maybe she's from Scotland. She likes my accent.
It could be. It could be. Let's go with that. Elaine's watching in South Africa. It's 6:15 in the morning there. Sheila says, is Carl Cook riding tonight? No, Carl's not here this year. I think he's up at Thermal. He's been in Mexico, so he's either at Mexico or Thermal this week. Haley says, what's next for World Cup? Here on Saturday, obviously. OVS, that goes without saying. And then we're off to Fort Worth in Texas. We take a little break for Christmas and New Year. Then Puebla in Mexico. And then it's Ocala And that's the last qualifier, and then it's Omaha, Nebraska for World Cup finals.
April 4th through 8th.
It's going to be great. Castaway Equestrian Jumps says wishing everyone the best of luck, and got a free quote as well, like your style, Chris. Bit of a plug there.
Well, this combination that starts us off had a win in Toronto last week. It's Egypt's NAL Nassar on the Evergate Stables 11-year-old gelding El Conda.
Yeah, he took over the ride of this earlier in the year. Formed a really quick bond, actually. It's small, it's fast, it's got a lot of blood. It's really his type of horse. And it's also quite a unique horse, this one, because almost its full lineage on the dam side is completely made up of ponies. And that's probably why it's so small and compact and neat. It's not often you see, these top class horses, one side all being ponies. But it is compact. But boy, can it jump.
Well, and Niall is a really quick rider.
Shady's on YouTube saying she loves Niall. We'll let him know.
It was good to see Jen, his wife, last week in Toronto.
Oh. Didn't expect that, to be fair.
I think he got there just a hair quicker than he thought.
Yeah. Horse didn't quite lock on, I don't think. Just ran out of room.
Sounds that tone. We'll get that fence put back together here. Signal time back in.
He was really trying to slice it, jump the left side of that jump.
Yeah.
And I think the distance closed up a little quicker than he thought it was going to.
He had an amazing win last week, though. This is such an exciting little horse as well. It's perfect for these competitions, so it's a real shame that he had that stop. Of course,
He does have one more to go, though.
because he stopped and knocked it down. If you are a little bit new to the sport, so he gets 4 faults for the refusal. But they also add in 6 seconds as well, and that's the time. That's the time that they estimate that it would take you to circle back round if you hadn't knocked it down. So that's why it's 6 seconds. I'm sure there must have been a committee involved with deciding 6, but it's going to be 72-4 and 4 there for the first of his 2 rides now on Nassar and El Conde. But if you're watching a speed competition and he's in it with that horse, never rule him out, because that was quite uncharacteristic for them to have that refusal in here this evening. And Paige Walker's been back in touch. She was saying she was watching at university. So her trainer's Caitlin Campbell, and she's studying environmental science, which sounds very complicated.
Well, we will say hi to Caitlin.
We will. So no change in that leaderboard. Elisa Bros still leads 61-73. Is that challenge? Is that time to beat?
Well, this is one that when they're on, this next combination, when they are on, they are really tough to beat.
Yeah, she will give it her all. We turn now to Kristen van der Veen, who runs Festina d'Italie.
Otherwise known as Frosty.
Frosty.
Tied for second in a class last week in Toronto.
Had some great results at Tryon over the summer.
And this horse is deceptively one of the fastest horses there is. It won a class here a couple of years ago by 7 seconds.
Yeah, if she can keep them up, then this will be one to watch.
It's got a humongous stride. Get her eye on it here.
You see her almost turning through the air. Not much you can do down here, just got to keep moving forward. 61-7-3 to beat, so let's keep our eye on that clock as well. She's going to do them here. Yeah, nice and tight.
Ooh, she's pushing there, going. Trying to do one less stride going there. Got there a little long, and that narrow oxer, sometimes they don't see that back rail.
She had the time.
Fastest time of the night.
58.03. So it takes her to 7th as the fastest of the 4s. Best of the rest after our 6 clears into 7th. So Lisa Barras still out in front there. 61.73. Has she done enough? Well, there's some quick ones still to come.
Speaking of ones to watch, let's welcome Misty Cassar out of Westlake Village, California.
Spots of the World says shout out to all the grooms of these horses. They look stunning. And it's always good to give the grooms a shout out because the riders are such a tiny cog in the whole machine. It's a whole team that keeps these horses on the road.
The rider's job is about 2 minutes at the ring and maybe 10 minutes in the warm-up area. The other 23 and 3/4 hours of the day, the grooms are all in there.
Well, this one's a really bouncy little horse. It's one that Jan Kandel had for a while called CMS Gary Shore. It's a 9-year-old gelding by Dallas. My Lord Cornet, Misty Cassar. This is a horse we've seen in the World Cups here with Misty and Harley Brown. It's a horse she took to Leipzig, actually, the World Cup finals, after finishing 3rd in the World Cup in Sacramento last year. Now, it can be a little bit quirky with its brakes and its steering, but Misty does tend to do a good job.
Just go with the flow. Go with the flow.
You can see it's got little blinkers on to help with that, and it's also got that liquid titanium mask that's meant to just sort of take the edge off them a little bit. She's given this a good ride tonight. Again, not going to be, worry in the top few, but she can stay clear. She's going to go into a good place at the moment and have a good setup here for Saturday.
Clear, 70.23, and that sits in 6th place.
Excuse my voice a little bit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Cassar and My Lord Cornet, all 3 around the arena, 70.23.
Yeah, she always gives that one a good ride.
6th overall, wonderful ride. Misty.
61.73 though will stay up at the top. Bet Lisa Barras is biting her nails. She's been up there for so long. She knows she's got 15 left that are going to try to chase her. This is Carrie-Anne Boyce Lockhart now. CMS Garady Shore. Jumped some nice rounds in Thunderbird back in August. This is one that Carrie-Anne's moving up into the World Cups this year, jumping her first one in Sacramento. Let's see how she gets on tonight. So starts off with this rhythm and just kind of keeps it. Horse is fairly adjustable.
Yeah, so much goes when you start that plan and you get that lick, that pace. Maybe you slow down a hair. You go, but when you make a drastic adjustment to the pace, that's when all the wheels fall off the bus. It's,
And I don't know what Carrie-Anne's sort of plan is, but with it being her first World Cup in Sacramento, this will be her second this week when she comes in on Saturday. So, I think she'll just be going for the active round, the forward round, but, just keeping that in the back of her mind that this horse is just sort of stepping up to the level.
I mean, so far, she's looks like she's sticking right to her plan. Jumping great. Sets herself up nicely.
Yeah, good one. 68.70. Rides the clear and heads into 6th place there. Carrie-Anne Boyce Lockhart into 6th. Haley says, how old is this grey? Love his dark tail.
9 years old.
9-year-old, that one. Irish sport horse. Summer Lynch joined us as well, watching in Arizona. She says she's cold. I mean, I've got a cold, but I'm not that cold because we're in Vegas. Look, it's chilly here
cold
this year.
here.
Yeah,
It's much colder than normal.
Normally we come here for a bit of the heat after Toronto, but not this year.
It was warmer in Toronto than it is in Vegas.
But lots of love coming in for them. Horses for Life say they look amazing. Zine Pump and Gas, it's a good YouTube name, says they look great. And
Kendall
here's-
Bourgeois.
Yeah, Kendall with a 12-year-old gelding. Nice horse this actually. It's called Flint and M. It's owned by Cameron Brown, who's one of their customers. One that was bred in the Netherlands. Been jumping the horse internationally since August last year. Came third in the Welcome at Sacramento, then went on to finish 5th in the World Cup. And it's a good family business actually, because her sister Nicole also, out riding at a good level. See that real look of concentration coming down to those striped mafia rails. Yeah, just turn her head using that upper body around the turn. Good angle. Just keeping a nice active rhythm, not going crazy. That comes in a little bit deep there. And I think that energy just carries forward. Couple down, finishes on the 8, 65.15 there. Kendall Bourgeois and Flint and M. Just a little mistake off the corner.
Just out of our top 12 for money tonight. And 4 vaults are better, just the fastest 4 vaulters with 8 total clear in the speed class.
Haley Kohler says she's watching in Wisconsin and it's much colder there.
Boy, I bet it is, because it turned cold right as we got lucky. It turned cold right as we were leaving Toronto. Here's Casey Amet and Gaia, the 11-year-old mare by Cantos, Dutch bred out of Rhodium Mare.
Out of the 2 horses that Casey's got in here tonight, I'd say this was the better one of the 2. Both really nice horses, but if you had to take one home, this would be the one that I'd want to stick on the lorry. It's a naturally very quick horse. She won the $25,000 140 at West Palms last month. Won the 2-star Split Rock class in Paso Robles. $20,000 competition at Summer in the Rockies in Colorado. It's a naturally very fast horse. Now Casey does have to remember not to hurry. As soon as she tries to kind of hurry things, she can get in her way a bit, so she has to kind of stay out the way and just keep things nice and relaxed. Spots the World says she wants to ask, why do riders choose to either run on the North American League or the European League? So they don't really choose, it's just from their nation, where they're from.
I mean, there's some of the riders who split and do both.
Yeah, because their points count for the other league. It's all very confusing. But when it comes to qualifying on the North American League, they do look for the North American riders, so those points will transfer. And they look at, the people with the same amount of points in the Western European League for those that are qualifying over here. I'm sure that's as clear as mud. But yeah, the ones who aren't from North America, who compete over here, don't take the places away from North American riders. Not sure if that's any clearer or not, but there you go. It's all very confusing. But Casey's given this one a good ride. You see she was working to get that good left-handed turn in there. Not going to be too far. Oh, but that fence, I think that's the one that's kind of caused the most issues. They're almost kind of firing out that corner. And the last comes. I think if this was a rectangular ring and it wasn't a kind of rounded corner, I'm not sure if that would have caused as many issues.
62.96 at the time we were right into 3rd. And unfortunately, a pair of rails above and just out of the top 12.
Shirley Webster says watching in Grand Rapids is 18 degrees there in Minnesota. Hope says supposed to go down to 13 degrees here in northern Idaho tomorrow night. She lives in a trailer, going to be pretty cold. The horses love the snow though. Sorry if I turned the conversation into time and weather. It's fascinating because everyone's watching in different places all around the world. Mary Thorburn says, just tuned in. Where have you been, Mary? She said, who's in the lead? It's Elisa Bros, and her leading time is 61.73, and it's a one-round competition against the clock. Hope you're caught up there, Mary. Rachel watching in San Clemente. Yeah, that one in California. Connor Swale. This could challenge the top few. Horse called Theo, 10-year-old by Christian 25. Won at Traverse City during the Major League. Third in the accumulator at Washington.
Quick horse.
He's always better on the right rein than the left rein. He used to have real turning issues on the left rein, but you know, Connor worked hard and did all that kind of fun flat worky stuff and has pretty much sorted out that little issue. But yeah, the right-handed turns have always been easier with this horse than the left-handed ones.
Nice there. Yep.
This horse had a break earlier in the year and then came out at Tryon towards the end of summer and came back on flying form.
Nice short route. Right now, I think he's on it.
Yeah, I think he is too. He'll be making the top few nervous. Now, we've seen a few fast up to this jump and then they end up having it down.
He's really got to come down this last line now.
If he leaves this up, he's done it. Nice job.
60.55 for Connor Swale, the new time to beat. Took a win earlier today. And will he go 2 for 2 on our Thursday here in Vegas?
Well, I think he's in with a very good chance. Niall Nassar still to go. He could be quick with that one. Lily Keenan to go. Caitlin Campbell.
Caitlin and Paulina Delisco, they are very quick.
We'll wait and see.
Niall is always quick. Gia Rinaldi is a great rider.
Savannah Tritt was just talking about Connor's horse, saying how balanced it was. And he trusts it as well. You know, he can turn, he can pretty much go from anywhere, as you saw there in the replay. And Katie says, hi Adam, it's 4 degrees in northwest Montana. I think you win so far, Katie.
I'll be in Montana next week, but I'll be in Missoula down the other end of the state.
I'm not sure if it'll be as cold there.
I hope, well, it was like 10 the other day, so.
It's 30 in northeast Ohio. It's like a weather report tonight. Sophie Siegel and A-Girl already on track. Had this ride for about a year now. Sophia trains with Harley Brown. This is a 12-year-old by Adjure. She was second in the 4-star World Cup in Sacramento. 4th in the 3-star at Thermal. 4th in the 3-star Grand Prix Ocala earlier in the summer. Having some very good results. She sat up very carefully for that double. Kind of checked and checked until she could see that stride.
Got hung up in the air a little there.
I don't know if she just lacked a little bit of power coming in. She had her hands quite high coming in towards the Oxer. Just before then, 71.56, and just that one rail coming down today. Laura Berger's happy about Connor going in front. Says WTG, way to go. I'll translate there for the older people, Oliver. Good boy, Theo, says Laura. Andrew Mason, who is watching in Australia, replying to, you know, that question, we've got any tips how to boost confidence jumping higher. He says Scotch does wonders. Always drink responsibly. But yeah, good to have you all getting involved with the conversation here tonight. Spots of the World says Theo, fantastic horse. Oh, someone else has given me a pronunciation challenge. CW says watching in Atascadero? Ascadero. Atascadero. There you go. Tell me if that's right. Central Coast Cali. Probably wasn't right. Anyway, meanwhile, Vanessa Mannix
for Canada.
Valentino had this horse about 4 years now. It's a little horse with big ears, a huge heart, even bigger personality. And she's jumped this year before. She was in the World Cup last year, just had one down. But she bought this horse from Lauren Crooks, who's a good friend of Vanessa's teammate James Chawton. And James would normally be here, but him and his wife Jacqueline have got a brand new baby at home. So congratulations to them. I know James will be watching, and hopefully he's going to see Vanessa do well on this one. She's had a good summer at Spruce Meadows and Thunderbird with the horse. An 8th in the World Cup in Sacramento a couple of weeks back.
Bit of adjustment there. Worked out.
Whoa!
Oh, that, we need to see that again.
If I was her, I would be straight down the casino after she gets off, because she is...
Well, luck was going to run out sooner or later.
If I was her, I'd rather have that back bar like that off the Oxer than what could have happened over that fence when the horse left a leg. But again, I would not rule out this partnership here on Saturday for a good finish. Whoa! She had to hustle down that final line. Going to be 8 faults here, 71.22. But I know how much she thinks of that horse. He's got such a massive personality. And again, after that good finish in Sacramento, we'll keep an eye on them here on Saturday. Just not her night.
That horse made an unbelievable effort there.
You can see in that replay.
The 7 rides remaining here in tonight's competition as we'll turn our attention next to the horse they call Cooper.
Again, just has that rail. But Connor Swale still leading at this stage, 60.55. Elisa Bros in second. Luis Goncalves in third, 62.57. And Simone Berg will be next. Brings a horse called Cooper. 15-year-old this one. She had her first FEI win last year, which was also her first FEI Grand Prix win, because it was a Grand Prix. She started riding this one though in the started January 2020, so had a couple of years. This is one that Angel Caroli's jumped in the World Cup here before though, so the horse knows the arena. It's got good lines, including Voltaire.
Goes around there, coming back to number 6.
Another one that was at Sacramento. She was 6th in the World Cup there a couple of weeks ago.
Drops a rail at A.
And just finishes on the 8 today, 68.55. But, you know, still new at this level. Did well in Sacramento. Will have taken a lot out of that round as well. She knows kind of what to work on tomorrow. Probably going to have a bit of a day off tomorrow. Get ready, and then we'll see them back here on Saturday. Chase is asking what the arena footing's made out of. They're all made out of slightly different things, all the surfaces, but normally kind of silica sand, bit of fibre, sometimes a bit of wax or a bit of gel, depending on where you are.
Yeah, little indoors, it might have a little bit of clay, a loam in it.
Andrew says, I came to watch the World Cup many years ago. It was at the Thomas and Mack Arena. Is this the same arena? It's not. It's the South Point. Which is a real unique venue. It's got the hotel built in as well as casino, about 12 restaurants, cinema, bowling alley,
Bingo
spa.
hall this week.
Bingo, there's a huge bingo tournament.
$2 million bingo tournament going on right now.
I had to peel Oliver out there just to come and do this class. Robin Wyman says, hello Adam and Oliver, watching from Maryland, and it's 33 degrees. Another weather check.
I'll be back there soon, Robin.
It's a shame, just caught that rail. This is JJ Atkinson on track here. Centigraph BVR. Their last international outing was actually this event last year. But she's been jumping quite a lot on the national circuit. Been quite a consistent year for JJ with this one. This one's by Sentinel out of a Berggraf mare. 12-year-old gelding. Apart from that early rail, just giving this horse a nice ride round. And I think had she not had the rail, she probably would have gone for the kind of slightly tighter turn back. But now really just kind of using this as a bit of a school round, a bit of a sort out. You can see the horse has been a little bit feisty at times. A little bit too much blood, and
all that playing kind of took the rideability away, jumping into the combination there.
Yeah, so it's not going to be her night. But again, you just got to take away so much from these rounds. Don't just focus on the negatives, focus on the positives as well. Take the information you need of what you're going to work on.
5 to go now, returning for round number 2, or ride number 2, we should say, Mr. Niall Sar.
Ollie says the horses have to pass a vet check prior to the rounds. It's not a vet check prior to the round, it's prior to the event. So all these horses come forward, they're presented in front of the ground jury, so the judges, and also a vet delegate whose only job here is to, one, carry out the vet inspection and then advise the ground jury. So they're not actually treating any horses here. It's a separate vet for that. So yeah, they're all checked for soundness and suitability prior to the event. Again, any more questions, feel free to stick them in that box below. We'll soon make up an answer for you. This is a horse that joined the Evergate team around September last year. It's called Jiminy Cricket. It's an 11-year-old gelding, and it's the second ride of Niall Nassar here for Egypt. Gary Potter produced this horse for about 6 years. And I saw Niall have a win at Spruce Meadows in the 2-star over the summertime. Jumped some good rounds at Greenwich as well. That show that Kent Farrington runs.
Niall has always had great shows every time he's been here. A little long, but it works. Staying on a good lick, coming down to the dice. Nice and neat coming back around to the narrow oxer. You got to push down this last line.
60.55 time to beat. Has he done it? No. Great try though. 61.53, so Niall Nassar goes to second. Pushes Elisa Bros into third. Gave that a stellar ride though all the way around. Real athletic little type of a horse. Chase Reagan says, ask Oliver if he saw a kid helping the jump crew at Washington, because that was him.
Hey, how's he doing?
I don't know, it's a one-way conversation, really.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, well, they can answer. You know, they're listening to us.
I thought you were asking me.
Isn't it a little late for him to be up?
Oh, I kind of gave up with the time zone thing. I think we moved on to temperatures because.
All right, let's move on to Gio Rinaldi. This is Cosmona, 11-year-old mare by Casmeo.
Yeah, they've been together since about September 2001. Quite quickly went to Spruce Meadows. She was there last summer. It was her first visit. And, you know, she'd always dreamed of jumping at Spruce Meadows. So she turns up, and then she goes on to win the 5-star Pan American Grand Prix. 2 clears we had in the first round. She came back for the jump off, last to go. Already had a clear, had a time to chase. And the 23-year-old went and did it.
Oh, she's been having a really good season all through Wellington. Rode on the team.
Not going to be quite quick enough to challenge the top 3, but so much to like about this round. This pings over the final fence. 65.16 the time. Going to take her down into 8th place at the moment. That was a nice one. And Chase Reagan has answered you, said it's not too late because he's on Thanksgiving break.
Oh, okay, okay.
Anne says, are studs allowed if the footing's deep? Yeah, I mean, you can wear studs. I have to say, I don't think I would indoors. The footing gives kind of really good traction in here. But yeah, I mean, if you want to, by all means, feel free.
Whatever you need to do with the horse.
Yeah.
3 left to go.
3 left. Connor Swale still leads. 60.55 time to beat. Someone's saying, do the riders pay for the vet checks, or is it a requirement of the organisers? It's just part of the Shojin. You know, you pay your FEI entry fee, and it includes that. There are some testing fees and stuff that come on top of your entry fee.
But the
actual
vet check's
included.
not like a vetting like you're buying the horse. It's more of a trot up. They do a spot
a 2-minute
check for
thing.
sounding. They take a quick look around, see if there's any visible anything that might be wrong with the horse.
Well, this is
that's visible to you.
Clea Cadell on track now with Da Vinci, 14-year-old gelding by numero uno, and just not having the best start here tonight. Clea trains with Alino Furushin, who's running some great shows here on the West Coast at the moment. And this is an old friend for Clea. You know, she showed him in the junior jumpers, and she's now progressed all the way through to the FEI divisions. She balances college and riding, and has done so much on the national circuit, but relatively new to the international. And she's done a good job because she had 3 rails early on, and she's just sort of stuck to her plan. She's kept things organised. Oh, has to really work around that corner. And that was a kind of ride of 2 halves. You know, the first half 3 rails, and then after that, nice one. So just a couple left to go. So we haven't got long, it's only a 1-round competition. So if you haven't yet asked your question, if you've not said hello and you want to, then, you know, it's almost the end.
Down to 2 left, and this is always a quick combination. Paulina de Lescaut from SWS Training and Sales, Caitlin Campbell's 2nd ride.
Yeah, she was 12th in the World Cup with this horse in Sacramento, 5th in the Welcome competition there. Caitlin's had this one a few years. It's an old ride of Shane Sweetenham. Caitlin's always quite hungry for a win, but she knows she has to be foot perfect tonight if she wants to catch Connor. He's a great athlete, a great horseman, and he's on fire at the minute. Highest ranked rider we've got here. Oh.
God, they're just kind of cross-cantered out of that turn. Got her a little strung out going to the dice.
At least you can't say she's unlucky tonight.
Well, this one's just come back a couple of weeks ago. It was out doing the 5 stars down in Mexico, in San Miguel Allende and in Monterrey.
Looks a little bit strong in there.
Well, not the night for Caitlin. She'll finish on 16 and 64.41.
A total of 16 faults will be the score for Polina de School. Of course, those riders with faults in the double digits are going to be the top of the order on Saturday if they elect to qualify here. And let's go to our final entry.
Well, just one combination left to come. Stay there, though. We're going to find out if Connor Swale has done enough.
Here's Lily Keenan out of New York, New York. Number 87 ranked rider in the world with Agana.
Lily has been in Europe most of the summer. Came back, did the Mexican tour in San Miguel Allende and in Monterey.
This is Agana Van Het Grandel Z, 11-year-old stallion. This is a horse that Lily's had since he was a 6-year-old, and she's tried, you know, really hard not to rush him. He is growing into a bit of a star. And this one's so chilled out at home.
She really has a great string that she's built up now. Took a win with one of her other mounts, Queensland, in the 5-star.
There's quite a few horses that are really chilled at home, but then as soon as they get to a show, you know, they almost grow a hand and sort of turn into this competition athlete. He's a stallion, but Lily's mum, who's 70, flats him at home. He really is just a real cool dude. Lily's a top-class athlete. And that experience in Europe really kind of feeding into that now as well.
She's got to really come down this last line if she's going to take the win.
Oh, she is close.
Close.
She's close. All the way. She's done it. 59.76, straight to the top. Lily Keenan will take that victory. The pressure was on. Connor Swale led the way. 60.55 is the time to be beaten. And then she takes the win in 59.76. Great to see Lily here. And what a ride that was.
Mission accomplished.
Absolutely. That was a great one. Went right to the wire.
The ring crew jumped in to start getting things ready for the presentation, and Agana just saw that one. Stop, almost spun her off.
You don't want the horse thinking about that when it comes back in here next time. So that was a great idea for her just to stay. Say, you just wait a sec. I just want to have a quick look again. Well, great competition. Congratulations once again there to Lily Keenan of the USA that will take that victory here, 59.76. Connor Swale for Ireland finishes in second here, 60.55. Then it's Niall Nassar of Egypt, 61.53 to finish in third place. I have to say, being completely honest, I thought Connor had done enough in there.
Well, you know, all that time she spent over in Europe, you have to go fast. There is no going slow, and she rode it as efficiently as you could ride, which the same that Connor did, but you know, horse has a little bit bigger step than Theo did.
Yeah, well, you can see your result on the screen there.
Less than a second between the two.
Real exciting competition. The All-In Speed Classic here at the Las Vegas National Horse Show. There's going to be plenty of live streaming as well that you can enjoy throughout the event. And of course, we will be back here on Saturday afternoon. There's a competition there on Saturday afternoon. And then for World Cup, you want to watch that, it has to be on FEI TV or Clip My Horse. It won't be on YouTube or Facebook Live, so you need to get organised for that one. But yeah, we'll be back here on Facebook Live and on YouTube on Saturday afternoon. Keep an eye, of course, on the show website for the timings at longinetiming.com, as well as the full timetable, the results, the start list, and you can see the course plans on there as well. Just head on, select the event, find the class you're interested in on the day that you want, and you'll find all that good stuff there. But do come back and join us on Saturday afternoon and you can get involved with the conversation again. But thank you so much for everyone who has been getting in touch, getting involved. It's always great to chat with everyone from around the world as well. You know, we saw Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, all over the US, a couple from Europe as well, and it's the middle of the night there. So thank you so much for joining us. I've been Adam Cromarty alongside Oliver Kennedy, and we'll see you again back here very soon.
Of course, Blenheim Equisports is an equestrian event management company based out of San Juan Capistrano, producing 13 weeks of horse shows in San Juan and also right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Competitions include USEF and USHA rated hunter jumper shows, including the USHA International, National Pony Hunter Derbies, Finals, Whitethorn Equitation Challenge, Medal Finals, and for the first time on the West Coast, the Nations Cup USA in May of 2023. Located just minutes from the Pacific Ocean in Southern California, Blenheim Equisports delivers destination equestrian lifestyle events enjoyed by both competitors and spectators alike. The perfect destination for your West Coast showcation. Of course, our photographer is taking the field. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to our presentation party representing Blenheim Equisports this evening. Mr. Robert Ridland, our president of Blenheim Equisports, and Hillary Ridland, our CEO of Blenheim Equisports. Also joining us in the arena, our show manager Alexandra Zulia, and awards presenters Nani Lupke and Debbie Stone. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back all of our riders, led back by today's champion, Lily Keenan from the US of A, aboard Agana Van Het Geraldal Z. What a fantastic ride for all of our top finishers here, but it took the very final rider to claim the victory tonight. And once again, congratulations with a winning time of 59.76, Lily Keenan and Agana Van Het Geraldine. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please rise. And gentlemen, remove your caps as we'll honor tonight's champion, Lily Keenan, the American, with the playing of the USA National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's introduce you to Hillary Ridland, our CEO of Blenheim Equisports, for the award presentation for Lily Keenan. Escorted here by Nani Lupke. And let's introduce you to our president of Blenheim Equisports, Mr. Robert Ridland, to meet our champion, with our show manager, Alexandra Zulia. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, put your hands together for the American Lily Keenan and Agana Van Het Geraldal Z, your champion. We'll turn our attention now to the remainder of our top 5. Joining us in the field here, your reserve champion had the lead all the way down to the final entry. Connor Swale from Ireland, aboard Theo. Your third place finisher, Nael Dessar, representing Egypt, aboard Jiminy Cricket. Its fourth place going out to Elisa Brose, the American, aboard Gardenta Vatmirov. And your fifth place award winner from Portugal, Luis Sabino Gonzalez and Vic de Croisi. What a great class we had here this evening as Lily Keenan earns the right to be the final rider on Saturday night, the catbird seat, if you will. And of course, as our presentation party moves back, we have one more request from that champion. Let's lead us off. In the victory ride, Lily Keenan and Agana Van Gerendal Z. Lily Keenan takes the win, earning the prize-giving collarette, the Ethel M Premier Chocolate Gift Basket, Ogilvy Saddle Pad, Top Line Design Ribbon Wreath, custom picture frame and gift certificate, as Lily's your champion and reserve champion, Connor Swale, Nael Nassar, Alyssa Brose, and Luis Gonzalez. But one more time, all by herself, Lily Keenan. We'd like to thank Blenheim Equisports for sponsoring our All-In Speed Classic tonight. Of course, we're riding for the winner's share of $40,000. My name is Max von Zimmerman. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for bearing with me. My voice a little under the weather tonight, but we had a wonderful class, and congratulations once again to Lily Keenan.